Okay, so I'm making this video and also pausing my art posts so I can make this. There was a post that I saw just right now. I reposted it and commented in all caps, thank you. And what I'm about to talk about is going to be some pretty heavy topics. So I'm just going to give a warning before I just dive right in. If you want to leave the video or scroll past, that's completely valid. But I'm going to give you like a few seconds to just decide. Okay, so what the topic of this video is going to be is about words such as rape, sexual assault, suicide, murder, etc., and how censorship is going about. And also, one of the comments on the video that I reposted was talking about doublespeak. So if you've read 1984 by George Orwell, you'll know exactly what I mean. For those that haven't read 1984 by George Orwell, doublespeak is kind of like a manipulation of language so that it kind of gets diluted from what it originally was. So what I mean is, so what that means in this sense is like words like rape has to say grape. Suicide is known as sewer slide, I think. And then, like murder, stuff like that is called unaliving. And as a victim of rape, trafficking, abuse, sexual assault, and attempted murder and kidnapping, I would like to highlight the dangers of not using that proper verbiage. And I'm saying, like, if you're going to talk about these kinds of topics, you do need to give a proper warning. You do have to be respectful about these types of comments and words being used because it is triggering for people and you must consider that as a factor. But with social media just trying to suppress any actual verbiage, even with proper, respect to the words, using it correctly, talking about a true crime, for an example, or someone like me who shared their story involving those words. I think it's important that we're allowed to speak freely and transparently because if I said, oh, I survived a sewer slide attempt, it comes across goofy. No, I want to tell people, hey, I tried to kill myself when I was 13. And I'm speaking factually. Like I did try to commit suicide February 17th, 2011. And I want to be able to say transparently and then say like what my experience was, how I got help, what led up to why I would make that choice as a 13-year-old. With my rapes, I would like to be transparent and say like I was raped then, and this is how I got through it. This is what I would like to advocate for and how I would like to help others by sharing my story. But I want to be able to have the freedom to do so. And I guess this video is just kind of highlighting the dangers of taking away these words. Because if you use these words, your videos will get suppressed, you'll get shadow banned, or your video could be taken down. And that's a problem for people like me who are trying to get into advocacy work and sharing our stories so that others can relate and understand. But like I said, using those words, you have to be respectful. You have to give a heads up about the content warning. And it's just crazy to me. Like if I was murdered, so whenever there was an attempted murder situation that took place 2023 for me, say I died, it would be mortifying, like metaphorically, say I was a ghost and I could see things after I die. It would be mortifying for me to see a true crime person be like, oh, she was unalived and raped. Like, no, I want people to know, like, her abuser at the time attempted to murder her by doing this and she was raped. Like, I want people to know the truth, not these pseudonym words or this double speak that's going on. And I think it's really important that we just talk about heavy topics respectfully. We be transparent, we be honest, and whoever wants to share their story should be allowed to do so with an element of freedom, like a freedom of speech. So I guess when I saw that, it really prompted me to just halt my art postings and just really focus on that because I think it's important as a victim and a survivor that I can share what happened to me without getting penalized for doing so based off of an algorithmic system. And hopefully those that are watching this know what I mean and understand where I'm coming from. But this is an ongoing issue and I just decided to make a video to call it out.